Hey, this is Politics with Laura, and I got a good one for you today. I like the instrumental. I got a good one for you today. Now, this came from a tweet that I did 2 days ago. I put it out there. There was this a part of a video about a student in South Carolina being taken from her chair, well, actually slammed to the ground by a police officer and swept up to the front of the classroom while the police officer removed her from the chair and swung her forward, then walked up to her, turned her over, and arrested her. And I said that was the teacher's fault. And that got over. Last night, I took a screenshot of what I said, had 92,000 views. I just checked it again and it had over 96,000 views. And that sparked this live stream because what I said was grossly misunderstood. Now, the people who were supposed to get the message, you got it because you know who I'm talking to, the teachers. And the average person is not going to truly, I can't say truly get it, because if you don't understand theory, oh my goodness, child development and all the other things that come along with becoming a teacher. Now, all of this missed that teacher within the classroom, not only the teacher, but the assistant principal in my opinion, should be relieved from his job and either to be retrained or never go back into a school again. The teacher, in my opinion, needs to be actually let go. Let go. And I'm going to tell you why. Look into the description. And then I'm going to use two articles because it went to the Supreme Court and it was resolved last month. And what occurred, the police officer was immediately dismissed from his position as a police officer. Now, I'm not saying that the child is wrong. No. I'm not. The child is most definitely wrong, but the teacher sets the tone and the environment of the classroom. If the teacher has an issue of creating an environment of learning, then that teacher does not need to be in a classroom, or the teacher needs mentoring and assistance. At least what is a 2-year plan? Oh man, but this is South Carolina. Follow me here. Just follow me. Oh, on Twitter, let me see, because I'm streaming this on Twitter. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Now, this is a mess. This is a complete mess. Let me see, forgive me. Okay, all right. I'm going to go back and forth. So where I'm at on StreamYard, I can't see I can't see it. So let's get straight to it. Let me go ahead and first show you the tweet that got, I got some wild, wait a minute. I got some wild responses. Look, on Twitter, those of you who are armchair warriors and hiding behind a letter on your on your thumbnail, No one takes you serious. No, no one takes you serious at all. You're just a little delicate snowflake. And it's common knowledge. And if you don't know, you know now. And there were some responses that were quite, how can I say, interesting. I'm just going to be diplomatic about it. Interesting. And I got a lot of it. I got a lot of responses to my tweet, and I'm going back and forth, and I'm only showing what I received. That and these articles. So please don't leave. This is something that you really need to learn, because there's this saying from, it's a pipeline from school to prison. South Carolina just said, well, hell, take them straight to prison. You can be at the age of 8 years of age, and can be arrested and not even bother contacting the parents, because the parents have been taken out of the equation. So you have school systems that set policies. And look, people, you really, really need to pay attention to the policies that the school board puts in place. Now, I get it. It's boring. You would rather go knit or go play bingo than go sit at a school board and see what's going on and what policies they're putting in place for your children. Now, let me go ahead and dispel this stuff. If you believe that you're going to skate by the color of your skin, let me clue you in on something. Let, 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 let me help you out. The economy is crashing and no one cares about your color. So get over yourself. Now, having said that, some of your responses are just straight out wild, but pay attention to the school board and what they put in place. Now, how South Carolina was able to put this type of policy into place, I can't believe parents went for it. I can't believe it. Parents went for it. And it got to the point to where the parents were pushed out, as I said, of the equation, and it goes from classroom to jail. Students are being prosecuted for being a teenager. Now, majority of the teenagers are jerks, somewhat psychopathic, sociopathic, and needs a spanking from here to 3 other states, most definitely. But to be put in a police car for not wanting to put away your cell phone. Now, I've been a teacher for a while, a long time. I stopped because I saw this stupidity coming down the pipe, and I wasn't going to be a part of it. Then I came back as a sub, and I was able to go to different classrooms, and the quality of teaching that I saw was downright deplorable. Straight out deplorable. Look, being a teacher, I'm going to sidestep for a second because I really want you to understand the role of a teacher. Because some of you, your ignorance is beyond, and I'm not trying to insult you. I'm truly not. But your ignorance is, I have no word for it. I have no words for it, the ignorance that some of you have. Teachers are a vital, valuable part of society. Now, you can tell the type of society you have by the quality of teachers you have. Look at your teachers, look at your society, you know what you got. Now, I blame the teachers because teachers must understand this. Teachers Not all children get home training. Some people can reproduce without a license. Some people can reproduce without a license. You have a license to drive a car, you have a license to be a doctor, a license to be a lawyer, but you don't have a license to be a freaking parent. So you get what you get in the public sector. However, teachers and some of you, oh man, I'm trying to get angry. Some of you assistant principals, you know you must have a degree in curriculum and instruction. But some of you bypass and just do some wild stuff to become an assistant principal and then to becoming a principal. And whenever it comes to children, I'm passionate and I get angry when this foolishness happens. You principals are supposed to have that background in curriculum and instruction. And when you don't, you have new teachers coming in because universities do not spend enough time developing teachers to have them have a strong understanding of theory. And you universities are raggedy too. I'm trying not to get too out there. Let me see. Okay. Okay, I digress a little bit. Let me get back to what I said. This is what I said. I want to know about the teacher. How long has he or she been a teacher? Does a teacher understand the community in which he or she serves? Did the teacher contact parents? Is the teacher still employed? If not, fire that teacher. If you look at my community section on YouTube, Politics with Laura, take a look at that and see that police officer manhandling a student being a jerk. Now, as I was beginning to say, one of the first things that teachers are supposed to do is to create trust between the teacher and the student. Because students come in and say, I don't respect anybody. If you respect me, I respect you. All that little ignorant stuff. They get that stuff from outside. I'm sorry, let me take this down. They get that little ignorant stuff from outside. Somebody told them, if you respect me, I'll respect you. Just, that's a societal problem. And that right there really needs to be addressed, and we really need to address that. But the teacher creates the atmosphere. And new teachers have to learn. New teachers or teachers have to feel comfortable in their skin to be able to do this. And if you're afraid of your students, get out of the classroom. You don't need to be there. Students know when you fear and don't like them. They know it. All that little phony smiling stuff, oh, despicable. But the teacher has to create that learning environment. That student would not have done that if that would have been the first day, one of the first things that would have been laid down. And as a teacher, you invite your students to create the ground rules. Students come up with some rough rules and make them accountable for what they put into place. Day one, day two. Day one, day two, do that. Those ground rules. That gives students, they buy into that. Hey, I have a stake in this classroom. I have a say-so in this classroom. And then you bring those students into it. Have them do those rules. And then as they make up the rules, you post them. And whenever they cut up, hey, right here. You know, the first one, rule is what? If you break it, what? And somewhere within down the line, because how the students do the consequences. Oh, their consequences are rough. You make them accountable for what they put into place. And don't get to the point to where someone in a tweet said, parents don't care and laughing out loud. Oh, one parent household. Oh, you and this is why the society is the way it is because of people like that. Thought it was funny having a single parent household. That 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 student came from a single parent household. Despicable woman. You know who you are. You're despicable. That's not cool. All right, so let's go ahead and hit the article. Okay. All right, I'm going to start with what was said about 7 years ago, and then I'm going to get to the court case because South Carolina came up with this ingenious law to arrest students at the age of 8 to 18. You can't make this stuff up. South Carolina School Board, I'm going to let you know something. You're raggedy for coming up with something like that. Raggedy. An 8-year-old student can be arrested and have a what do you call it? A record at the age of 8, 9, 10. And your teachers and principals are raggedy as well for doing that stuff. But I'm done with the raggedy stuff for now. All right, here. South Carolina sheriff deputy on leave after dragging a student from her desk. Now, it's in the thing so you can see what I'm looking at. The article, the link to the article. The video of a South Carolina sheriff deputy manhandling a Black student in high school classroom has prompted an investigation by local authorities after a footage was widely circulated on Monday. There was another student that was, thank goodness, videotaped the whole thing. Videotaped it because of that. It's going to get to the next article, the court case. The video showed a school monitor reported by Ben Fields, who is a Richland County Sheriff deputy, confronting a female student when she refused to leave her desk in a classroom at Spring Valley High School in Columbia. He tells her, "I'll make you." Then he wraps his arm around her neck, flips her desk backwards, then drags her across the floor. He arrested her. He arrested both the girl and the male student. So there were two, but the girl was roughed up even more. But here's the interesting part. Let's get to why she was. You can't make this up. And this is why I said it's at the feet of the teacher. According to a classmate, the student in question had peeked at her cell phone during class. When the teacher tried to take the phone away, the student refused to hand it over. When the school administrator told her to leave the class, she stayed at her desk, which is when Fields was summoned. Okay, there's a whole lot wrong right here. A whole lot wrong. Because the cell phone, one of the worst things that the U.S. schools did, all school boards, the the National Department of Education, which is illegal, goes against the Constitution. You need to be disbanded. Just my thought. Allowed cell phones in the classroom. You had to know. You had to know this was going to be an issue. You had to know when the laws or the school policies being laxed to where the parents, and oh, some of you parents, I have had many of fights, and many of you try to get me fired. Didn't work. I left when I wanted to because you want to call during class time, and some of you mothers are outrageous. Some of you call during class time knowing that your child is in class and you want to call, FaceTime and all this other stuff. So as a substitute teacher, I had to stop what I was doing, come to the student, please put your phone away because I'm talking to my mom. I'm like, please stop playing around. I'm talking to my mom. I go and I look at the phone. Sure enough, he was talking to his mother. And I said, excuse me, ma'am, your son is in class. And I'm instructing the class, and this is what I have my degree in, so I'm teaching. This is what she said. Oh, I didn't know. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. I didn't know. You parents. Oh man. Woo. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying some of you parents are the cause, the progenitor of this behavior because you didn't check it when they were young and you encouraged it, allowed it because your behavior is out of order. But I digress. Okay, let me go back to the article. I'm going to wind up really getting angry. I mean, the cell phone. The cell phone. The student had a cell phone. So she gets manhandled. Had, what was it? Let me make sure I get this right. I don't want to misquote anything. A cell phone and taken out of her chair, backflip, and just look at the video. Just look at the video. And arrested for a cell phone. Now, at what point in this situation, instead of calling the police and having the student arrested, why not the parent? That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering why not the parent? Because it is a public school. The money comes from tax dollars, whether if it comes, well, it comes from tax dollars, it comes from property taxes, not only property taxes, but whenever you buy a candy bar from a store, part of that tax money goes to your schools, your public schools. So you receive public money. The students are in a public institution, and you don't bother to call the person that funds everything in your school? No, you call the police officer. The parent never had an opportunity to straighten that out. Not even one. Not a one opportunity. Oh, the student had a bump on her head, oh goodness, had her head, a band-aid on her head, and she had a broken arm for having a cell phone and being sassy. Again, I'm not saying what she did was right. No, I'm not. But the teacher had zero classroom management skills, which goes back to theory, as I said in the very beginning. Now, I'm not even getting into whether if this was special needs. I'm not even getting into that because that's a whole other level of things. But the teacher, it's quite apparent that the teacher, he or she did not do their due diligence in classroom management because that would never have happened. Now, I don't know if that teacher ever had a mentor. I don't know if that teacher, or even if the school system even offers that. Don't know because some school systems don't. They skate around things. All right, let's get back to the article. Now my phone wants to ring. According to the classmate, the student in question, okay, had picked up phone. The sheriff department had placed Fields on administrative leave while investigation, while it investigated the case. A spokesperson for the school district, Libby Roof, said on Monday night that the administration was deeply concerned. We are investigating it, and along with the sheriff's office, she said. Now, if you were deeply concerned, and this is the administration, possibly from the school, you need to look at your assistant principal. You need to look at your assistant principal because your assistant principal elevated it to that point when he had the ability to say, hey, call the parent, have the parent cut, this. But I'm going to tell you why I got to that point. Just let me finish this, and I'm going to get to the next article so that you can see the foolishness of what South Carolina did. This is foolishness, and it's embarrassing. And the Supreme Court, you ought to be further embarrassed. Libby Roof got put out there on the chopping block. Okay, a spokesperson for Richland County Sheriff did not immediately respond in the request for a comment. Steve Benjamin, the mayor of Columbia, said in a statement, we cannot and will not accept any kind of behavior from law enforcement, and I firmly believe that we need an independent investigation. They're throwing this police officer under the bus. Now, look, the police officer had no business being there to begin with. Had no business. Again, this falls at the feet of the teacher, like I continuously say. I'm not going to say that anymore, which are hard not to. The police officer is going to receive discipline and was fired. He was fired for doing what the teacher failed to do, and that was to create an environment. Now, the teacher said, I had 20 students. I had 35 students, and I was the only one there. And for some of you who like that, I taught in the inner city. Majority of my career, I taught in the inner city in the DMV area, Southeast DC. And I took no prisoners. And many of the teachers that I learned from took no prisoners. Until this new fluffy philosophy from you liberals, this is all your fault. You want to bring tulips and daisies instead of actual education. And the foolish, dumb stuff, what you're doing now is making things worse. You can't make this up. You can't. You create the environment in your classroom. Get students to buy into it, get students involved. And then if a student acted out, I had parents come in. No. You have to, I would stop class. Yes, I would stop the flow of education to get that child straight. You may not agree with my methods, but they work. Invite the parent, say, no, you have to come in to the classroom. And oh my goodness, I remember this one. I remember this one student. I hope you see this video. Matter of fact, you're on my Facebook. I'm going to send this video to you because I'm talking about you. You're a lot better now, but you need to beat in DC, Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia. You need a spanking. But he got sassy with me. I did not deal with sass, not at all. And he got sassy. It's been a while. It's been like what 18 years ago. So I called this parent. His mother came in. His father was like, she came in. Oh my goodness, he was so embarrassed. The colors his mother wore. He was like, Mom, please. Yeah, she wore some wild colors. And he was so embarrassed that she walked all his classes because I called. She's like, okay, if he's acting a fool in your class, I know he's acting a fool in other classes. Stopped it. Now, despite what some of you may think that contacting a parent doesn't work, oh no, what happened? Okay, why did it freeze up? Oh no. Okay, the internet access is good. Why am I frozen? Okay. Okay, this is not good. Let me see. Let me go on Twitter. I have stayed up all day over print. Okay, well you can still hear me. All right, I'm gonna keep on. Yeah, my leg. I'm stuck, but I'm gonna continue going. That is okay. Now, you go back to the article. Janelle George, the Defense Fund Education Specialist, said the video is more than an isolated clip. Okay. Really? Miss George, it's an isolated clip? Nah. No, 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 no. It shows the danger of increasing police presence in school. Yes. She said the push for more police, for more officers started after when the Columbine school shooting in 1999, when an eye towards student safety, when we were seeing this conflation between safety and discipline, George said. Now, you know, I find that quite interesting. You take Columbine and then you bring police officers into the school, not into the classroom. Student safety, yes. School safety, yes. But dragging students out of school like that because they want to look at their phone and get sassy, that was a classroom management problem, like I said before. I'm not going to get into that anymore. Let me see. The video also lasts a few seconds, but reflects an eruption of tension that has built in the Richland County School District. Over several years, the school system was predominantly white 10 years ago. But after the rapid demographic reversal, this is now 3/4 Black. Okay. That's back in the 60s, white flight. And that happens. It's like, oh no, let me go ahead and go someplace else. We informed Uh, we uh, we formed because it was obvious that white parents were getting the best access and opportunities, but we are a community of Black parents who want to get involved, Gilchrist said. The problem was widespread. Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. I did not mean to do that. Okay, it is crazy, man, said Stephen Gilchrist, a business owner and a father of three, who is a founding member of the Richland Two Black Parents Association. And this goes back to what one of the tweets said. One of the tweets said a single parent household. So it's quite interesting. You know how you have to say two parent black household, but you never say that for any other community. And that right there really needs to stop. That's dreadful. Okay. The group formed a year ago after a dozen or so members of now has 5,700 on its roll, the association. We formed it because it was obvious that white parents were getting the best access and opportunities, but we are a community of Black parents and we get involved, Gilchrist said. The problem is widespread. Fields has a history of alleged aggression during arrests. According to a federal court papers, a man named Carlos Martin sued Fields for pepper spraying him and roughing up his wife after he pulled his car into a parking lot playing loud music. The suit ended in Fields' favor. Wow. And a second federal suit is a high school student named Ashton James Reese is suing Fields for allegedly falsely accusing him of being in a gang. In the court papers, Reese's attorney, well, that was a little bit different, so I'm going to leave it right there. Now, here is the interesting part. And if you look at the description, you'll see the articles. Now, the student sued, and this went to the federal courts. And this is something the federal appeals court ruled South Carolina law disproportionately punished Black students for being boisterous or obnoxious at school is unconstitutional. So, in other words, you cannot arrest a student for being a jerk. That right there. If you have ever had child development or human development, and you go through different stages, you'll realize that some people or some young people or some teenagers go through a phase of jerkism. It's an actual disease. They act like jerks. They do. But it doesn't mean that you arrest them. And using Columbine, what happened in 1999? Come on, you got to do a better job than that. Now, here, a federal appeals court ruled that the law in South Carolina making it a crime for children it's a crime. You can't make this stuff up. It's a crime to be boisterous or obnoxious in school is unconstitutional. And the U.S. Court of Appeals in the Fourth Circuit ruled that February 22nd of this year, 2023, this happened 7 years ago, the law deprives students of their 14th Amendment due process rights. The three-judge panels ruling after 7 years of an incident at Spring Valley High School in Columbia, South Carolina, back in 2015, school resource officer Ben Fields violently pulled a Black student out of her desk and slammed her on the ground, reportedly over the student's cell phone use. in algebra class. You have no idea. She might have been looking up using calculator. I don't know. It could have been anything. The video went viral, and the student who recorded the video, Nia Kenny, was arrested for causing a disturbance. Well, if using a cell phone is causing a disturbance, and a teacher saying put your uh, phone away, and that has happened. I mean, I had gone over with students about that issue. Oh yeah, but I never had anybody arrested. No. Now, the American Civil Liberties Union backed the Carolina Youth Action Project in the 2016 lawsuit that alleges the state's disturbing schools and disorderly conduct laws. The ACLU argued that the laws allow the students to be criminally charged for regular teenage behavior such as swearing, loitering, or undefined obnoxious actions on school grounds were unconstitutional. The lawsuit also urges or argues against the disorderly conduct law, which prohibits students from acting in a disorderly or boisterous manner. So this police officer, clearly had his issues, but he lost his job. He lost his job for doing what the school told him and what the school law policy allowed him to do, to remove students, arrest them. Oh, and then it really gets there because they were arresting so many students to go to prosecute. Say, hey, wait a minute, hey, you're sending us so many kids, you're sending us so many students. And here, the judge also noted that more than 9,500 students were prosecuted under the disturbing schools law. The South Carolina even used the law to prosecute students as young as 7 years old. Black students were charged 7 times more than white students with this law. Now, I'm not even going to get into the color. Nah, just the fact that students are being arrested for being students and for being jerks. Now, Haytons wrote that the enthusiasm with which one South Carolina schools district referred its students for criminal charges, prompting local prosecutors to beg the school district not to refer so many cases to them for criminal charges. I mean, the South Carolina, you had it, the school to jail pipeline. You couldn't even wait until they graduated. You're like, nah, I got to get you out of here now. Let me get you out of here right now. Okay, wait a minute. Let me try this because me being stuck is a problem. Oops. Okay. Okay, I'm stuck on both. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it here. But I hope you got all the way to this point. I can't even show you the the tweets I got. Some were straight outrageous. It's like, I can't believe you're an American citizen. You are a discredit to this country. You are. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to stop it here because I can't seem to get this to work. I froze up. But on that note, I want to thank you. All right, bye bye.